Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I've got a special video that I'm making here today. I am at Bayou Bandit rogue course in Houston, Texas, and I'm going to create a new layout for it, but I wanted to give you an idea of what it looked out. So I'm going to do a practice round here of the new layout that I'm creating. The reason why I'm creating this new layout is a few holes are going to essentially be removed from this course because there's some construction that's going to happen over there just beyond hole 8, where holes 9 and 10, 18 and 17 are going to be directly affected by. And so I'm going to create a new layout starting with hole 1, which will be the old hole 8, which is where I'm at now. And I'm going to essentially walk you through the course. So with that said, let's go ahead and I'm going to get warmed up off camera, and then I'm going to start throwing. So Bayou Bandit is my favorite course and Sean's favorite course. We've probably played here more than any other course, period. In fact, UDisc backs it up, at least according to my report. But that said, I'm going to go ahead and throw down this way. The basket is just next to that, just to the right of that sign that you can barely see. I'll put an indicator there. Although you can't see it, I can barely see it in real life because it's not a very high quality basket. With that said, I got my little star leopard, and I'm going to go ahead and throw. By the way, we've got sustained winds of like 10 to 20 miles per hour, a lot of gusts that may exceed that a little bit. I was going to throw multiple shots, but I just threw the best shot of my life on this hole ever, and we're just going to take it. Okay, yeah, I have to confirm this is literally the best drive I've ever had on this hole, so it's kind of nice that I'm doing it here on a practice round where it doesn't really matter and I'm not scoring. I'm about 40 out from the pin. The basket is approximately 2 to 3 inches shorter than a regular basket, so that can be a source of some misses that are fairly close. That's a good one. All right, and with this, looks like I've got an easy par. But yeah, you can see the basket here. It's a little hard to see because it's basically kind of dark gray, and it's maybe 2-3 inches lower than normal by my estimate. Okay, off in the distance is the basket to this hole. Given that I need more practice with drives, I may throw more drives than upshots and more upshots than actual putts when I play this practice round. But I'm just going to go ahead and try to curve something around. All right, that is a really good drive. I'm not gonna throw any more on this one. Okay, so what I might do is differential training. Basically, if I screw up a throw, I will re-throw. But otherwise, if I'm playing good, I'm just gonna not do anything. Okay, like I screwed up that one, for example, so now I'm gonna practice upshots. That was my Rhino. Let's try my Rhino X. Incidentally, that was my T-Bird. There we go, that's a lot more in line with what I wanted. All right, and with that, let me try to do some practice putting since I haven't actually done any practice putting yet today. Okay, the next hole, old hole 4. Basket's over there, it's hanging. I'm gonna go ahead and try to get somewhat close to it with this T-Bird. I'm having a lights out performance off the tee so far. Okay, so this is one of those things where if you're playing good, you don't second guess yourself. You don't stress over why things are working well. Because sooner or later you'll mess up and then you got to worry. Okay, so the basket is elevated on this hole as well. It's just above that bush. I've left an indicator showing where it's at, but it's above that bush and to the right of that sign there. So with that said, I'm going to try to put a driver over on the other side. And indeed I did. Let me try my T-bird and swing it out a tiny bit more, because I wasn't planning on going at it. It's just an early release. So let me build that line. Yes, sir, that'll work. Again, that was a little inside, but that's basically what I wanted. Okay, so now I'm dealing with fairly sustained 20-mile-per-hour winds coming from that way to this way. So normally I would, under calm circumstances, maybe attempt to run that, but given the shape of the window, it's high chance I would just try to aim for down there. So that's what I'm going to do here, is aim for an easy tap in. Yeah, that's exactly what I do. I'm going to practice one more. Yep, just slide it up. That's what Daddy wants. So basically, this is a hole I generally don't experiment with unless I just am feeling frisky, and I don't. So this is a fairly easy decision for me, given that I'm throwing into a 15 to 20 mile per hour headwind and the basket is elevated over there. I'm just going to try to throw something on this side of the street, and then I'll try to get an approach close enough to the basket to make the putt. Ordinarily, I would attempt some sort of a fairway driver to get to the other side, but it's just, there's too much risk with the wind as it is. Okay, that's a good spot, but let me see if I can do something a little lower. I threw that Toro super high, which is not what I was intending. I was intending to throw, there we go, kind of like that. That's my pig. Oh yeah, that's a much better lie. Okay, this Toro is in a really good spot. It's better than I anticipated. This is a good spot here. However, this pig here, this is much more what I was drawing up in my head, because it's just a little bit shorter and a little bit more of a tunnel shot, but a little more focused in terms of what I can reach. It's like the perfect throw. Okay, and again, we have a little bit of that wind pushing this way, so I'm going to try to throw flat. I don't want to expose the flight plate to the wind and cause this thing to turn or fade. Pretty darn good. All right, I've got some practice putts ahead of me. Let's see what I can do. Again, we got the wind, but whatever. Oh, I had a yip. There we go, that's what I was trying to do. Okay, I've got a couple options here to use with the wind being mostly a tailwind with a little right to left cross. It's basically something understable, kind of flat that way, and hopefully it'll turn a little bit. The main thing I want to do is avoid the street. That's basically the way I drew it up. That's what I want to do. Okay, I'm about halfway, and maybe a tiny bit more than halfway. So really I want to replicate the same performance, maybe with the same disc, but I'm going to do it standstill so I don't have to worry about my cross step and going past the lie or whatever. A little too high, but that's essentially what I wanted. Okay, I'm about 45 out, and I've got a little bit of a crosswind here, so I'm going to practice putting a couple times. Fluffed that one. That was not aggressive. That one's aggressive. Too much to the right. Okay, and with that said, I'm going to use this aggressive putter as the putt of choice. We've arrived at the old hole 13. It's new hole 7 in this layout, and it's basically the same as before. You got a basket over that way, and that's where I'm going to throw towards. That was a perfect disc. That was my Hawkeye. I wanted to go through the taller gap, and indeed I did. Okay, I'm approximately 70 feet out from the basket, so I can actually putt and get fairly close, but I could also attempt to throw. So I'm gonna try a putt first just to see how close I can get. Really, that's better than if I would have tried to throw. So let me just try to throw just to see if I can get closer. You know, both of those are pretty good. So yeah, old hole 13, basically unchanged. And it's a good hole here too. Okay, the next basket layout, I've positioned the camera to where you can kind of see it, and I got a marker there, but it's in between those two trees. That's where it's visible, like you can see it from here. But basically you're going to throw it down the gap and have it fade. Some people with a sidearm or they're lefty, they may do a backhand that way to get around, but it's a little more direct if you're a righty backhand. Going to try my T-bird. I may also try my TL based on how this goes. That was actually really good. Like the snap that came out of there for barely trying was great. Try one more with the TL just to kind of see if I can replicate that with a different disc. You know what? That felt really good. I tried something different and I liked it. Okay, the TL is over there a little bit. It's kind of a semi-obstructed putt. Not really interested in going over there putting. So I'm going to again try a putt just close to the basket here, then I'm going to try a throw. So, oh yeah, now let me try a throw because I got to get that practice in too. Yep, that'll work. So yeah, pretty much an easy putt both ways. Okay, so the basket is straight ahead that way. From the tee pad itself, you can't actually see it. It's a blind throw, so you have to basically come here or go to the street to look where it's at and then throw accordingly. All right, so from here, it's basically a T-bird or a Banshee. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this T-bird. Yeah, that's basically the flat that I wanted. I'm gonna try this Banshee. I'm gonna try it a little bit lower since it's more stable and just see what it does. Oh yeah, that's really good. Two great throws. Two different discs, two somewhat similar results. Okay, basically the same deal as before. I got a couple options. This one's more like 85 out, so even with a really good putt attempt with a lot of distance on it, I'd still probably be about 20 feet out. So I'm gonna try to practice a couple throws. Oh yeah, I was a little more aggressive on the second one because I wanted to see what that would do. Alrighty, and there she goes. Okay, here they've done another good job of hiding the basket from the tee location, so I positioned the camera that the basket is somewhere there in frame, just barely. So with that said, I'm going to try two throws. I'm going to try an overhand throw that way, and I'm going to try an understable throw that way. Okay, that got me out there. Now let me try the leopard. I just want to try a throw that way and let it turn naturally. I put too much on it, so it's going to fade out that way. Okay, so that leopard was about 70 feet to the left of that basket, so I would not consider that a successful throw, especially with the right here. It's right to left crosswind. There's really no way I could get a disc to fade even with the right Anheuser turnover throw because the wind is just pushing that way. So, but I had to try it. Here I could either try a straddle like this, or I can try a straddle like this. I'm going to try a straddle here. I hope I'm in frame. So this layout is essentially a layout using the holes that previously existed, just renumbered and in an order that's easier to reach where you can hit them all without too much excess walking. Okay, this next hole, currently the basket is still on the stump, but when they make the changes to the course, there's going to be a fence essentially right on top of that basket. So that basket and stump will have to be pulled out and removed. My recommendation is for the basket to be moved over there towards that corner. That way you can throw it towards it and then go back towards the rest of the course that way. Since there'll be a wall, fence from that point on back, getting rid of hole 18, hole 1, and hole 2. They will all be gone from the old layout. So I'm going to try a straight throw that way towards the basket with my leopard. That's amazing. All right, now I'm gonna throw, let's try this T-bird, and I'm gonna try to throw kind of where I think the basket should go in that direction. Yeah, that's basically where the basket should be, kind of off in that direction. I wouldn't have quite reached where I'm thinking it should go, but that's where you want it. Okay, technically speaking, this is a birdie run for me, despite the best efforts of that tree to knock that disc back. But yeah, just gonna give it a shot. There we go. Once more, why not? Wah. All right, so my disc is here. There's the old basket. I think approximately where that cart is, under or near this tree, somewhere in this area is where the basket should be moved to. It'll be still on this side of the fence, and I think that's basically what you want to aim for. And then from this basket location somewhere around this tree, you could then walk to the next tee pad, which is where we're going to head to next. Okay, old hole 11 is new hole 12, and of course the wind just kicked up. So I've got something slightly stable. I'm going to throw it that way. But all I wanted. And actually, let me try my T-bird. If it's more stable, it should fight the wind a little bit better than that TL. Yeah, that's it. That's a lot better. That's what I wanted. So yeah, I got about 30 feet farther with this T-bird than the TL, simply because I threw it high enough and its stability allowed it to fight the wind that was coming across. The TL I just put too low. All right, I'm a good 150, 160 feet out, so I'm gonna try this Rhino. I was gonna try the AVR3 after that, but that's good enough. So really, two things contributed to this, not just a good throw that I had on the second throw, but a good throw on the second time, so I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, the basket is straight up ahead. In that opening, I'm actually going to try to aim for the opening over there. It's almost a complete straightforward headwind that I'm throwing into, so I got to throw something overstable. So here's my T-bird. All right, I'm going to try this Banshee, but I'm going to try it lower and flatter. There we go. That's what I wanted. I'm on the dance floor. All right, not my finest work, but no one watches my channel for pointers on what to do, more pointers of what not to do. With that said, I've got a couple putts. Just want to try to, you know what? I can run it. I'm going to try to run this because I can. There we go. That's more effort, which is what I forgot to do on the last one. I fluffed it. Not remotely my finest work, but what can you do? I'm not perfect, as you can see. But that's going to do it for this little practice round. This is a new hole, 13-hole layout that I think has a lot of potential because the groundwork's been laid out. It just avoids the 5 holes that get messed up by the new structure that's being built over there. Well, that's going to do it. I hope you liked the video. Please subscribe if you haven't already, as I have more unique disc golf content on the way. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.